Good evening, Crimson Tide Nation, and welcome to the Alabama Eastern Illinois postgame live show from yours truly, Jackson Johnson, Jeffrey Only Taught Sports, and Travion Ware. All right here on Alabama's Voice of College Football as we go over our takeaways from our 56-0 victory over Eastern Illinois. And let me tell you something, folks, you're going to be in for a wild ride for the good, the bad, and the terrific. How you doing today, gentlemen?
Doing pretty
Doing
good.
good. Doing good. Always doing good anytime you can shut a team out. So doing good.
There you go, man. Loving the T-Town shirt, loving the baseball hat, and always in for the Bama hat, as Carter Bryant called it oversized once, but it's like I never noticed until Carter Bryant said it. But I can tell you right now, we've got some magic coming your way on Alabama the Voice of College Football, and of course we've got Black Friday magic coming. They say every kiss begins with K. Well, they say magic begins with the merch store from the Voice of College Football. Got the hats, the t-shirts, the sweatshirts, the polo shirts, the can cooler, the tumbler cup, and the game day mug. We've got it all. We've got it all right here on Alabama at the Voice of College Football. You're not going to want to miss it. The link is down below. We've got it all. We've got it all right here. So, Travion, I saw where you talked a lot about our running game today. You were impressed with it. What were the notes you took from it for those that didn't see on it?
For me, it just started out with Ryan Grubb's intention to run the football, just with the committee slighting Alabama, being placed behind Notre Dame because of them struggling throughout the season, and most particularly in that Florida State loss in Week One, not having the running game. And today, that Ryan Grubb made a intentional statement to run the football with every running back they had, with the quarterbacks they had. Each quarterback got some carries on the ground. We saw each running back have their moment, and make the most of their opportunities when they were able to have those opportunities. And like you said, you only can play who's in front of you, and they those ball carriers made the most of their opportunities. They had 6 touchdowns by 7 ball carriers, and I think that just spoke volumes to what they could do uh, moving forward. But I mean, not like that. I mean, you're not going to get that type of production when you play teams, up to their standards and things of that nature. But the fact that they are able to still get some production out of their run game and do that, I think that that shows some sign of life after the run game looked considerably dead over the past couple weeks leading up to this game. So I think that's a good sign going in to Jordan here. You're gonna need all the good signs you can get on the road, but I liked what I saw today out of that run game for Alabama.
Well, Jeffrey, what did you take from this game?
Well, I'll have to admit that I did not see one play of the game, which I know probably makes some people mad. But
Oh, but
was not able to watch the game. It's just the way that it is. But I
yeah,
kept up with it
it wasn't on
online.
major TV. So
I kept up with it online, and yeah, the running game, like you said, Travion, was very impressive. But as any fan base would say, like especially opposing fan bases, they're going to talk smack toward Alabama in the fact that hey, we ran the ball well, but it was against
Illinois,
Eastern Illinois, so it's like okay, we know that, but
Illinois,
still,
whatever.
it was a good performance. All those backs getting involved, we got to see AK Deer. Everybody's been wanting to see him. Kevin Riley,
Yeah.
Dre Washington, Richard Young, Daniel Hill, Jan Miller. I still think it's funny that people are like Daniel Hill, like he's a good back. He's good. But I mean, like people saying he's the definitive number one back on the team. I still don't understand. I see he only had 2 carries for 14 yards. So I don't know if he got hurt. I don't know. You guys would have to clarify that. But I'm just it's a little
I know
bizarre
what it
that he only
was.
had 2 carries. He's not definitively our best back. That is just not the case. I mean, it's either Jam Miller or probably one of those younger guys that are just busting to get out there, like an AK Deer. Daniel Hill is a Pacific type of back, but with the game itself, though, overall, like I said, 56-3. So
You got it.
Illinois too much credit. Yeah, I didn't give our team enough credit. I'm glad I settled at 56 because I wanted to say 60. 60 or 70 points if they wanted to. We all knew that. That's why the score prediction really didn't matter. But the only negative, you said the good and the terrific, or the other adjective you used, Jackson. But the only negative that you could say is 2 picks from Simpson completely derailed his Heisman hopes. Now I know people don't want to hear that either, but it's still
he done with that.
He was right there, man, and I don't know, like the stats have just tanked. It sucks, but overall, great performance. Definitely should right the ship, and as we prepare for the big game next week in the Iron Bowl, I have not a lot of complaints to say about this game.
Well, go ahead, Trevion.
But I was just gonna piggyback off of what Jeffrey said. When you talk about giving somebody the credit, we got to give Kane Warmack and this Alabama defensive credit once again. Like I said, it really don't matter who you play because at the end of the day, you got to play them. You only can play who's on your schedule. And Alabama held this team to 1 for 11 on third down, 2 total first downs on the day, and 34 yards total on the day. And I think that just continues to speak volumes because they played a lot of players throughout the game, some younger players, some veterans that don't get to play a lot. They played the starters, of course, and they all got the same production from each level of play that they had. And I think that just speaks volumes to what they're doing over there, just on the defensive side of the ball, just demanding excellence. And so definitely want to give Kane Warmack a shout out because once it's been 7 straight weeks that he's continued to, you know, really being the strong point of this Alabama football team, and now fans are just not really starting to see that. They used to give him so much slack and stuff, but now he's doing what now he's been able to put some solid performances together overall, and now it's been magnified with how Alabama's playing overall. So got to give Kane Warmack give him some praise for sure. So yeah. Mm.
Yeah, he's been amazing. He's been doing a terrific job throughout these last several weeks as our defensive coordinator. And I'll tell you this though, it's our second shutout of the season. I mean, I know, it's gonna be, cupcake week and all, but still though, that's our second shutout of the season. That's pretty cool.
This team is better than last year's team. I think that a lot of people knew that before last week's game. And because we lost last week's game, the same issues that people, have with last year's team of, oh, you're not beating opponents that you should beat, or you're not taking care of business, finally suffered a home loss too. That was new. But it just made people start to say, well, hey, this team's no better than last year's team and all that kind of stuff. So we're better than last year. The problem is that, I mean, you see stuff like this, there's still just issues with Alabama, like just small minor problems that if we didn't have those problems, to be a truly elite team, you can't make mistakes. Every team's going to make mistakes. You can't be perfect. But, I mean, we didn't win against Michigan in 2023 because of Jalen Milroe's fumble. I mean, it's stuff like that you cannot have, obviously. If we're in a close game against Auburn, you need a field goal. You kind of would like to be able to say, hey, I feel confident we can make a field goal. Ryan Williams is a elite player, but you don't want to see the drops. You want to see a confident Ryan Williams because, I mean, at his best, he's a top 5 to 7 receiver, in my opinion, in college football. But it's really hard to say that when he is making a lot of mistakes. There's just – and the running game this season's been pretty bad pretty much all year. And this game was great. And the shutout's great, but it is against a 3-8 FCS team. They did what they were supposed to do, and that is great. That was awesome. Like, there's no complaints from that, but it's just moving forward, like, take the positives from this game and try to translate that to better competition because we've already done it against better competition. We beat Georgia on the road. again. Like, that's a fantastic win. The Missouri win, at the time, Missouri was a better team than they are currently. That was a good win. The Vandy win was very good. I mean, we've got good wins. It's like we've played well, but that Oklahoma game just shows you that there's still issues, that there's still problems, because we were better than them. I know Oklahoma fans get upset, but we were better than them in that game. We played better than Oklahoma, but the turnovers destroyed us in that game. And just seeing the small mistakes. Like, if we had played a mistake-free game today, because, again, I see the 2 picks. I didn't see any of the game, but just some of the stuff I saw online, there were still errors. If we don't have these errors, I think that would make people feel even more confident moving on and beyond. Because, yeah, we're Alabama. We want to win a national title. That's what the fans want. That's what everybody wants, just like all the other elite programs. And if you're not doing those things, then it's going to fall back on the board. It's going to fall back on the coordinators and the players, and people are going to get frustrated. We have a very good team. We're better than last year, but there's still enough problems that we're not susceptible to, playing a C plus game and can just easily win. It's not the Saban era. We have to play well to win games. And we've done that a lot this year, but we still have at times made a lot of errors. This game, though, was great. It's just still those small mistakes got to be cleaned up. It's just this late in the season, it's kind of tough to do that, though.
Especially our field goal game, because it was like
That's not going to get fixed.
Yeah, because like I saw where our fans were booing our kicker, and we had a new kicker, well, backup kicker, I believe. Guy's name was Peter Notoro. And I would like to see our kicking game get a little bit better before next week. I want to see it get better before we play Auburn, but there was another positive that I keep thinking about. And Travion, I know you saw this, but that Dijon Lee interception in the first quarter.
That was great. I
Yeah,
saw that.
Dijon Lee, he just continues to make plays. You saw he's been lately been starting over Damani Jackson, and that's really just from a production standpoint. He's giving Alabama the best chance in the run game, support being able to come up and make tackles, being able to cover his man and be a sound defender in coverage. But But speaking about some of those mistakes that they're making, I just continue to think about the offensive end. Jeffrey said it earlier, the 2 turnovers. That's now 7 straight games that Todd Simpson has turned the football over, and that's now becoming a part of his DNA, unfortunately, and that's hurt his Heisman hopes, like Jeffrey said earlier. But that's just the harsh reality that we're now seeing that he's thought he was just this transcendent quarterback, not tearing him down or anything, but he just the second half of this season he hasn't been playing as good as he was in the first half, and that's kind of derailed the offense, unfortunately, and just hoping that he could turn it around. But with the Connor Galton situation, it's just unfortunate because we saw Kellen DeBoer try to give him a chance early in the game to make a field goal when Alabama was in their own red zone. It was about 28 yards out, and the fact that he came up short, he didn't make it. It's just I said on Twitter today. I said at this point Alabama got to operate like they don't have a kicker because uh, they Connor Talton cannot be trusted. If you can't make a kick on senior day versus the FCS team, 3-8 FCS team, you can't make a kick versus them. What? Why should you be trusted inside Jordan Hill? Why should you be trusted in Atlanta if they were to go to the SEC championship game? I don't feel good with the game on the line or in a pressure situation. Need him to make needing three from him. I really don't feel good about that at this point in the season. So those are some of the lows that I've seen, but just hoping Todd Simpson can play some better football. Honestly, I just been let down the past couple
Mm.
of weeks by his play. I thought he was gonna, you know, be better than this, but it's now becoming a thing that he's doing, turning over the football, and unfortunately, that's gonna have to. Unfortunately, that's what he's been doing, and that's gonna have to change moving forward, or that can come back and hurt Alabama in the future. But not to harp on anything bad, they still looked good. They did what they needed to do. They ran the football. tried to send a message to the college football committee that they can run the football. So good signs there, and just hoping that moving forward, when they do go Jordan Hare, we just see a complete game because the defense continues to give them a complete game. It's the offense. So, but they were able to get away with it today. But next week they might not be able to get away with it. We saw, I don't know if y'all were watching, but you saw Deuce Knight over there at
Oh yeah.
over there at Auburn. But I mean, they played an FCS team too, but still the same. He still looked decent. He was mobile, and no telling what they'll do. They still have Ashton Daniels too. Him, Ashton Daniels, and they got three quarterbacks they can play. There's no telling what they'll do. They're desperate. They're fighting for ball eligibility next week. They need one more game to get ball eligibility. Alabama needs one more game to get to the playoffs. So the preview of that game gonna be amazing, but we'll have to see. But that's what I got for right now.
I want to make a comment about your points about Talty, though, and with Simpson as well. Football is a mental sport. A lot of people, know that, but it can be forgotten because it is a physical sport. You're hitting, you're tackling, all that kind of stuff, but it's mental as well. And every position, every single player group on the field has mental aspects. Receivers catching the ball, dropping balls, defensive linemen, trying to make tackles, shed blocks, all that kind of stuff. Corners trying to make tackles, pass breakups. Every position is mental, but the two positions that are the most mental are the kicker and the quarterback, because you throw an interception, you have to have the mental fortitude to not throw another pick. I know people online have gotten sick and tired of Fernando Mendoza, but the reason why he is so well regarded this season is because every time he has made a mistake, a critical interception in a game, he has turned it around and won the game for Indiana. Every single time. Every time. Oregon, Penn State, every game. Iowa threw a pick, should have lost, turns it around, wins the game. There's not any other quarterback in college football that has done that multiple times on the road this season. That's why, unless somebody else steps up, honestly, again, I know this is not part of the conversation, but Jeremiah Love, that guy's a stud. He probably should win the Heisman, but it's not a running back award. So it's got to be Mendoza because of what he's done. All right, Sayan hasn't done that. Todd Simpson definitely lately has not been doing that. He was doing that earlier in the year, but he's not doing it currently. But it's a mental sport. Right now, there's something with Todd Simpson mentally that he's got to overcome, because to get the best version of our football team, we need the best version of Todd Simpson. Every single team out there needs the best version of their quarterback, and we're not going to be able to compete for a playoff or win a championship. Can't compete for a national title or an SEC championship win in any way, shape, or form, or even guarantee beating Auburn if Todd Simpson is throwing interceptions and not playing the way he was earlier in the season when he was very trusted. And right now he's a little shaky, which is unfortunate, because you could say, hey, Keelan Russell, Austin Mack, all that kind of stuff, they're not experienced. It probably would be worse. I know we've had the Tua Jalen Hurts situation where Tua came in, won the game for us, but you can't count on that to happen again. The other thing with Talty is that is the most mental position in college football, because I have seen so many great kickers, even in the NFL, that are great. I'm not saying Talty was ever great. I'm not saying that at all, but great kickers that you miss a couple and you just go on a big slump. Adam Vinatieri was a fantastic kicker in the NFL, and I saw him miss 12 in a row one time. Dude couldn't hit anything, and then he got back.
Oh yeah, that was in his final years of his NFL career, because it was that you could tell he was basically at his time to retire.
But it's just an example, though, and I'm just saying with Talty, it's mental, because there's no way that dude's missing that field goal at the beginning of the season. Now it's all in his head. I don't know if he's reading social media. We don't know what these players are doing, but if Connor Talty's been reading what the internet has said about him, then no wonder dude can't hit a field goal. Because it's completely brutal. If I'm Connor Talty, I completely just do not get on social media. Just don't read a thing. Don't even comment. Don't read anything. Don't see what nobody's saying. Just hone your craft. He's made good kicks earlier in the year. He's even hit 40-something yard field goals. He's not completely trash, but right now it's in his head. And I don't know what the team's doing to try to help. I don't know if he's not being responsive. We don't know. I'm not there. But there's a disconnect there. There's some disconnect either with him, with the mental aspect of how he can't hit squat right now, which is problematic because it's a key point in the year when you're going to be in games where you're probably going to need field goals, and we don't have a backup option that's reliable. So, the coaching staff, it'd be probably helpful to try to burn in his ear and be like, hey, dude, like, we know you're capable. Like, just block all the noise. But Connor Talty's got to be responsive to that as well. If he's not being responsive to that, then that's on him. Again, I don't know the situation, but clearly it's mental because the dude was able to hit field goals earlier this year. Now he can't. And I've seen this before.
Talty, you know what
and,
he means?
And people trashing him online's not making it better. Yeah, it's fair to trash him. Like, I've even said, like, dude is struggling really bad right now. Like, how people are online. So,
I tell you what,
don't need to read that stuff. If you're an athlete, you don't need to read that stuff. You need to work on your game and improve. Just block that stuff out. But right now, we've got a mental issue with our kicker, and it looks like maybe our quarterback, and that's a problem. That is definitely a problem.
I tell you who I wish Talty could have as his mentor, Uncle Ira from Avatar, man. Like, I mean, everybody needs an Uncle Ira, man. Like, just be like, just have him there with you. Yeah, I mean, he always has good sayings, but all kidding aside, but in all seriousness, like, Talty needs kind of have like somebody that's in his corner, that voice of reason, just kind of tell him, look, just block out the noise. Just, what do you see? Like, the noise that you're seeing, imagine that being the ball, and you just boom, kick it right.
That's why I said what I said about maybe they are, and maybe he's not being responsive, but maybe they aren't, and they need to be doing that. That's why we have no idea. But our kicker is down right now, down and out, and that needs to be fixed. And the team and Talty need to figure something out because, like I said, we're not going to fix our kicker situation right now. So he's our best bet. He's made kicks before. He can make them again, but it's got to get out of his head. Because like Travion said, if you cannot make an easy field goal in a no-pressure game against a horrible football team, then how are you going to be able to do that with, 90,000 or however many fits in Jordan Hare, fans screaming and hollering, and you need a big kick? I mean, that's a lot tougher, I think. So, it's not great. It's definitely not great. I mean, we've had kicker issues before. In the Nick Saban era, but the difference is that most of the time it never came back to bite us. Obviously, kick six, that was a ridiculously long field goal anyway. But there's been a lot of examples where we missed field goals, but typically Nick Saban teams never really needed the kicker. And that's why Travion's saying maybe we can just operate just no kicker, just forget it, just shelve it. But I don't know if I trust the team enough to operate without a kicker either. That's the problem, because it's like, you probably are going to be in situations where you're going to have to kick a field goal. And if we can't do that, it's not good.
Or just kind of like, if you need to get in field goal range, just get into the red zone. Just get to at least the 15-yard line or get to the 13-yard line. That way, it's like.
I mean, but
go ahead.
I mean, but sometimes the situation not going to be ideal like that. Sometimes Alabama going to be in a pressurized situation where they have to kick it from wherever they are. I mean, as long as it's within 50 yards or better, I wouldn't trust them for over 50, honestly. But if it's within range from there, it's no telling when Alabama will be put in that situation. So the fact that right now he's proven that he can't be trusted. That makes that's why I said they might have to operate like they don't have a kicker. But then again, looking at how Ty Simpson has been playing these last couple of games, it's just like I don't know if they have the luxury of doing that because, like Jeffrey said, with those Nick Saban teams, it didn't come back to bite them because they were so fundamentally sound on offense. They had the defense and offense offense both going at both times, so the kicker aspect didn't matter. But you see, Alabama offense they've been struggling too outside of today, of course. But today's an anomaly. Next week you back on even ground with competition. So it's just like, can the offense carry them?
Well, and I know that we
I
saw our other. Oh,
I
sorry.
don't
Go ahead.
even know. But
Oh, the internet's
I
doing the
mean,
mess around Travion's world. Oh
I
no.
I still have faith in the offense, but it's the kicker. But I mean, it really just depends. I mean, they like you said, got to keep feeding
There we go.
confidence into them and keep being just
Uh oh. Travion will be right back. You know, internet's doing the mess around with him at the moment. But yeah, so Yell 60H was talking about Austin Mack and our freshman, QB, which he's talking about Keelan Russell. Yeah, they look pretty good today. It was fun seeing a little bit of Keelan Russell.
It's a shame that you have to have that mindset of I hope one of them stays at Alabama. Like used to, you didn't have that problem, right? Like your guys would stay committed to your team, even if they weren't starting, and like maybe eventually, if you worked hard enough, you would get
If
your
they
chance. But that's
if they
just not the
do
way it is anymore. So
if they
now
do
that we're
leave Bama, I would like for him to go to West Virginia instead of like Auburn or Tennessee or LSU for that matter, or go to Ole
yeah,
Miss.
that would be great. But the thing is, the portal is completely unpredictable because you're seeing guys transfer to rival schools. I mean, that like guys, in state rivalries, they'll go to the other team. It's happened before. I'm with you. I hope if they do leave, go to a school that's not Auburn, or Tennessee, or LSU. But that's not a guarantee that they wouldn't because of the fact that again, rivalries matter to people, but the players they want to go where it's the best fit for them. And again, that's back to my point about I hope one of them stays at Bama. Used to that was not a problem. Used to you didn't have to worry about that. That all those guys would stay and wait their turn to play. But like these days, it's about getting on the field as quickly as possible. So
For
I,
sure.
I I hope they don't leave. Hopefully Austin Mack and Keelan Russell will do what Ty Simpson did and wait his turn. But yeah, you never know, man. The portal's insane.
What do you
yeah.
think, Travion?
Yeah, and with Austin Mack, he's been waiting because he fought. You got to remember, he followed DeBoer over from Washington to Alabama, and last year, the team was kind of inherited by Jalen Milroe, so no other quarterback really had a chance. Jalen Milroe was the outright QB1, and this year, it was a three-way battle all the way up to when Ty Simpson, rightfully won the job. But now, uh, Alabama has a good problem on their hands, though. They have three talented quarterbacks. Austin Mack continues to show what he can do in the time that he's in the snaps that he's able to play. Keelan Russell continues to look sharp, and the way the ball comes out of his hands, his release is crazy. Like he's like a taller Bryce Young to me, honestly. Like he's like a bigger Bryce Young to me. But like I said, they got a good problem on their hands. Three good quarterbacks overall. So the fact that uh it really just depends on what Ty Simpson's going to do at the end of this year. I mean, because some could argue he should go right now. His stock is the highest, but some would argue that he would benefit from another year of coming back to Alabama, being with Ryan Grubb in the second year of that offense. So I do understand that, but then again, like I said, they got two talented quarterbacks behind them. And what Jeffrey's saying with the transfer portal being what it is nowadays, it's no telling. But I think I think Keelan for sure will stay. It's no telling what Austin Mack will do though, because he's uh he's kind of an older dude. He'll be a redshirt junior next year, so it's just like it's no telling. So, but hopefully whatever they do, they'll have some good quarterbacks. Then they have the other quarterbacks they have coming in the 2026 class, like Jet Tamala, the four-star quarterback they have, and they have a
Uh,
couple other. They
we
have a couple.
snatched him from Ames, Iowa.
Yep,
Yes.
yep. Then they have the other quarterback, the Hawaiian quarterback that Tua's parents already knew him. Forgot he's like a six
Trent
five quarterback.
Seaborn.
No, Trent Seaborn, but I'm talking. It's another quarterback too, but they're in a
Oh,
good
man.
spot. But to wrap up what I'm saying, though, they're in a good spot at quarterback. It just depends what Todd Simpson wants to do. But I'm really hoping we can keep on to Keelan Russell. Me personally, I'm hoping we can hold on to Keelan Russell. Want to hold on to Austin Mack too. But at the end of the day, these players want to play. So there's no telling what will happen. But I think they'll be in good shape overall at the position.
Well, if you did leave Bama, I have a list of schools for you not to go to, like Auburn, Tennessee, LSU. Don't go to Penn State because they won't play Pittsburgh annually. So I'm
I
punishing
mean,
Penn State for that.
you might want to go to LSU though with these Lane Kiffin rumors going on. You might want to go to LSU. You might want to go to Penn State. I mean, no telling because Penn State, it's no telling who they hire. But yeah, I know you. I know that was just a joke, but
These
LSU is
players are going to
that.
go where the best fit is for them. And most of the time, the best fit is either playing time and money, either or. It's those are the two reasons. I mean, like I said, I'm with Jackson. I cannot stand when a player transfers to a rival school. I don't like it. I think it's wrong because, if you played for a team, even if you didn't start, and it's like you got that like culture of like, hey, I'm an Alabama player, Auburn, LSU, Tennessee. We don't like them. We shouldn't go play for those guys. But that it just isn't how it works anymore. That I've seen it too many times. I've seen guys transfer from one in-state school to the next. Uh, I've seen them go to other rival schools, even if they're not in state. Same conference. Because used to that never happened. Like guys would transfer out of conference most of the time
Yep.
or to the other division. But now there's no division. So, like, it is what it is. Like I said, I agree with you, Jackson, but it's the same thing with the rivalries. They're either going to keep them or they're going to get rid of some of these because of all the
Oh,
changes. I want them to stay, but it's almost at the point where it's just tiring to keep fighting for something that is
It's
futile.
part of the game now. I
It's
mean,
just the game is changing. I can't stand it. I'm anti, getting rid of these rivalries like USC Notre Dame. They need to keep that. I'm anti
yeah.
transferring to rivals, but they're gonna do what they're gonna do. I'm anti expanding the playoffs, but they're gonna do what they're gonna do. It doesn't matter. I'll still voice my displeasure like you, but what we think don't matter,
yeah.
unfortunately.
Well,
And
You
Lane
need a
Kiffin,
lot
he
of
got
people
90.
to be against something for it to change things, and even then, sometimes it's not enough.
maybe if Josh Pate can become commissioner and he can have a certain someone that will
They
take
saying
control of
Saban
all
gonna
the
be.
schedules.
They saying Saban gonna be the commissioner, but no, with the Lane Kiffin situation, he got 90 million reasons why he would want to go to LSU. But then again, they're
Oh,
saying they're saying Florida and Ole Miss are trying to match that. But I mean, I know that's a little bit off topic, but like our viewers said, you got these players switching schools, so I mean, it's a part of the game now. I mean, it's 2025. I mean, with the transfer portal and the way the NCAA is, we already knew this was gonna happen. But catering it more to Alabama, just hoping that we can keep these quarterbacks. I know that Keelan Russell, his parents, for sure, they already knew the situation with the Todd Simpson situation. I've seen reports about they're saying that Todd Simpson rightfully earned the job, so they're not upset with Keelan Russell not starting. So, I mean, Todd Simpson has worked for this Alabama football team most of this year, so I believe he'll get his confidence back and do what he needs to do. And I also think they'll be able to retain Keelan Russell, so I'm not really worried about that overall.
Mm. This
Yeah,
point by Steve, coach has been switching teams forever. Players do it now. It's a problem. I know what he's getting at. I
it's the
understand what
game
he's
now,
getting
bro.
at.
I
But
said it.
the difference is you go back and you look at coaches switching teams a long time ago. They typically didn't go from one team to the next year to year. I mean, there are outliers to that because I'm sure Steve's going to find some outliers, But the vast majority of coaches, like Bear Bryant at Kentucky or Nick Saban at LSU, they stayed there for a little while before they jumped. A little
I
while.
mean, but to that point though, those coaches had contracts with the players. It's year to year, So I mean, I can see how that happened, but
The
the coaches are
players
under contract.
they didn't get paid back then, right? So,
Yeah,
under the
yeah.
table stuff, but it
At
was
least under the
scholarship. So
table or
you were
something. Yeah.
committed to the school that gave you the scholarship, right? So the academic scholarship was about academics back then.
Yeah.
Academics these days means nothing. It's out the door. For like 98% of players, their focus first is their skill on the field, which is
Yeah,
fine, I
NFL.
guess, but it kind of hurts them in the long run if they don't go pro.
Especially
Even with
Georgia.
their NIL contracts. It used to be about academics. For that top 2% that are like really smart, academics still matters to them more, but it was an academic like contract. It wasn't a contract, but your scholarship was your contract, right? The coaches have always been getting paid. I don't disagree with what Steve's saying, but the problem is that the players are switching team to team to team to team every year. Like some of these players have transferred 5 times. And I know that Indiana and Alabama and the teams I like, Steve, have those type of examples. I'm just saying that it's different because it's completely changed. There's no loyalty at all to anything. You're just there to get paid. It's like a job. That's why all the pageantry and all the stuff that we love about college football, the tradition, all that kind of stuff, it kind of just is thrown out the window. Like, just throw it out. It's gone. Even though, again, I'm against this because people are like, oh my gosh, Jeffrey's lost his mind. I'm not. It's not that. I'm still for tradition. But they're throwing it away. It's gone. It's out the door. If you're a player and you're okay, I play for Michigan and I loathe Ohio State, but then I transfer to Penn State. Okay. You still hate Ohio State, but you're not a Michigan player anymore. So now you hate Michigan too? And then, you're going to transfer to Rutgers after that if it don't work out at Penn State? That's my point. The tradition's blown. Because if you're a player going from team to team to team to team to team, and some of these guys have done that, they're like, how can you give any type of flip about the program that you're outside of the money that you were making, outside of the playing time that you were getting? There's no loyalty to school. There's no loyalty to a coach. There's no loyalty to anything. It's a job. It's just like if you work at Lowe's and you decide to go work at Home Depot. It's the same thing. And it's kind of sad because that's not the way college football was. Life has always been this way. People change jobs. People have always changed jobs. College football wasn't like this because these players weren't. This wasn't a job. Now it is. That's all I'm saying. It is. Steve agrees. That's all I got. I appreciate that because I know what you're saying and I agree with what you just said. But when you look at it from what I just said, it shows why it kind of sucks. Even though there's nothing we can do about it. And I'm not saying the players shouldn't get paid. But the way it's being handled and done is problematic to the sport. I mean, you're seeing Oklahoma wanting to shrink their stadium. I don't know if you saw that. Oh, they're shrinking their stadium. Why are they shrinking their stadium? Because, empty seats. There's a lot of empty seats now. We don't even talk about it at Bama, but a lot of the games, they have a lot of empty seats. And they say they're sellouts, but they're not. And number two, they're wanting to give more seats, more priority seats to these big donors that are supporting the program. So giving them their little seats where they can sip martinis watching the game, they're probably not even watching the game. And I'm not trashing people that have a lot of money that support university. I'm just saying that the priority should be for the fans that support the team, but that is no longer being the case anymore. It's about people that are supporting the university financially, like that third richest guy in the world dude that supports
Larry Ellerson.
That's all I'm saying. The sport has changed. It has become like the NFL. and the last clinging grasp of amateur, it's gone. I don't know what people are talking about. It's gone. The sooner that you
It's
accept the
part of the
fact that it's
game.
gone, the better it is for you, because of the fact it's not going to return to the way it was before. That the sport is changing. It is going in the direction of the elite, and that's just the way most things are in life. That's not a negative thing if you can handle that. If it doesn't affect you, if you can live your life and you have a house and cars, that's fine. But when it comes to your love and appreciation for what college football was in the past, it sucks. And it sucks really badly. But there's nothing we can do about it. Oklahoma's going to decrease their stadium. A lot more of these universities are going to do that because it's all being centered around the 10 to 30 people or whatever that support that program and pay 90% of their bills. That is what's going on. It's not about all the hundreds of thousands of fans and alumni that go to that school. That they don't matter at all. Because think about it. Michigan, that dude that's paying for them, he's worth more money than the entire complete, like, Michigan probably student body, like the entire body that's there, like all the people that when they graduate and where they, get out of college and what they do with their lives, he's worth more than all those people combined. He's the priority. Those type people are the priority. And I'm not saying that to disparage rich people, because if we were all rich, we'd be happy and great and all that stuff too. There's nothing against being rich. It's just if you are the main focus and the rest of the people don't matter, that's a problem.
But no, really, getting back to while Jeffrey was on his rant, and rightfully so. Getting back to what one of the viewers said, they said now destroy Auburn. I'm interested to see how some of these games played out throughout the day. I saw Texas and Arkansas was playing right before we got on.
Oh,
Also, Vanderbilt and Kentucky. We needed some of those scenarios where they said any combination of 2 or 3 wins could put Alabama's title game championship hopes in jeopardy. So, can we pull up
oh,
some of those results
absolutely. I'll tell
from
you this.
today? Put them on the big
I'm
screen.
still disgusted. We have to rely on Tennessee to
Well,
beat
you were right
Florida.
about Vandy.
It's like,
Vandy won.
I,
Okay, so the other two would have to happen. Arkansas would have to beat Texas. Now, Arkansas and Texas was close at half. It was 24-20. I saw. I forgot who was up, and then
oh,
Tennessee would
Texas
have
is
to beat.
Texas is beating up
Okay,
Arkansas like Foghorn Leghorn, spanking the barnyard dog right now.
Yeah,
whatever that
Texas
means.
is
Okay, we're
destroying
good.
them.
We're good with that. Okay, we're good with that. So the Tennessee versus uh, Florida game don't even matter because
I
they needed 2 of those 3 results to
know.
happen, but they're already 0 for 2 in that category. So Alabama is
Tennessee's
good.
gonna suck tonight. I mean,
So
I hope
so
I'm wrong, but they're gonna suck in Gainesville.
yeah,
Oh
it
my
really
god!
did. Yeah, that
Why
result.
can't
It's
they?
Like I
all
said,
about Florida's effort. If Florida shows up, they can win again against Tennessee for the
Uh,
11th straight time in Gainesville. But if they don't show up, then Tennessee they're
I'm gonna
better.
puke just looking at Tennessee, Florida.
but
I hate that image. I hate that it's in Gainesville. Oh my
but
god!
I
going
think
back to
Jackson just doesn't
Alabama's
like
perspective,
Gainesville.
Not when it's Tennessee, Florida, and we have to rely on Tennessee to beat Florida. Like no.
But like Travion said, do we still have to rely on that?
no,
We're good,
no,
right?
because Texas is taking care of business versus Arkansas,
Yeah.
and Kentucky didn't upset Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt
So
had
that the
held their
game
own.
means nothing now, right?
So the
For us.
game means nothing. So
Yeah.
basically, Alabama has to win. They have to win next week, of course. Beat Auburn,
Mhm.
go to 10-2, and then they should be able to. I believe that should clinch them to the championship. I mean, I don't know what other scenario it'll be. I mean, of course, we'll hop online later, and somebody might have a theory that makes sense where Alabama wouldn't go to the SEC title game, or what other scenario would need to happen. But I just think it's a win in your end situation for Alabama. And I saw something else with the Big 12 in their conference going on, and they were saying if Alabama did go to the SEC championship game and they lost, how would they place Alabama with Texas Tech more than likely going to the Big 12 title game and them playing a team like a BYU and saying that BYU potentially knocks off Texas Tech? How would that affect Alabama? Because Texas Tech, they've been at the top of their conference the whole year, and if they were to fall off, how far would you drop them from where they are now? They're currently number five. How far would you drop them? And you would have to move BYU up because BYU's on the bubble now. They're like number 11, I think, or
Hmm.
whatever. And if they beat Texas Tech, and if they beat Texas Tech, and Alabama was to lose in the SEC championship game, where would that put Alabama? But I just think the main thing for Alabama, if they win, they control their own destiny again. I believe if they win versus Auburn and they win the SEC title game, they get an automatic bid. Versus, versus you lose, now you got to depend on somebody. That's just what Jackson was saying. Never put yourself in a situation where they have to depend on somebody. So now we need this Alabama football team to go into Georgia here, handle business, and whether they
I
play,
mean, if the division still existed, then we would not get in the SEC title game because A&M's undefeated. If they beat Texas
yeah,
too, they would be undefeated, and then they were in the West like we were, so we would not get in. So I mean, I guess that's the only positive you can say about the divisions being gone is that if
Yeah.
two teams from the same division can the old divisions can get in the championship game. Because like I said, Alabama, if A&M went undefeated in the old version, we would not be in the SEC title game, which I still think actually would not have been a bad thing though in a 12-team playoff scenario. You know, Alabama
because you
beating
see, you
Auburn,
see
being
Ole
10 and
Miss,
2, we probably would have gotten a home game anyway. The win
Ole
would
Miss,
elevate us further,
yeah,
but a loss just makes it sketchy.
yeah, Ole Miss is in that exact same scenario. All they have to
Mm.
do is win the Egg Bowl next week. I mean, other than more than likely losing your coach, I don't know what's going to happen over there, but they have to make a decision after the Egg Bowl. But Ole Miss in a perfect situation. All they got to do is win the Egg Bowl, and they're going to get a home playoff game more than likely because they can't make the SEC title game because they lost to Georgia, and Alabama beat Georgia, so they got the head to head. And then so it's really just a three-way street for the SEC title game: Texas A&M, Alabama, or Georgia. But I think Texas A&M gonna handle business. They're gonna beat Texas next week, and it'll be Alabama versus Texas A&M. That's what I believe it'll be. Honestly, I think uh, I think with Georgia, with Georgia, it really just depends with
Crossing
them
my
because they have
fingers for Georgia Tech to beat them.
yeah. I mean Hayes King, they've been there before. We saw how close they played them last year. It took them like over 8 overtimes to win that game. So really just got to see how that plays out. But overall, I think Alabama got a good shot. They just got to do what's in front of them, win these games, and don't put it in the hands of nobody else, and they should be okay.
Well, I won't make you suffer through my dislike of Jesse Palmer, gentlemen. Jeffrey's had to hear my dislike. I won't make you suffer through it, Travion. But
The Jesse Palmer, Joe Tessitore, Georgia Tech call last year made me ill.
oh man, it
It was
makes any.
rough.
Yeah, Palmer was simping for those bachelorettes than he was thinking about Georgia Tech. If you asked him how many times Georgia Tech play on Thanksgiving or Black Friday, he couldn't tell you because he's so focused looking on that mirror of his own image. But John, we saw a walk-on quarterback today. John Gazane, I forget how you pronounce his last name, but he was coached by Carson Palmer in high school, and he was a walk-on. I don't know if you caught that, gentlemen, but he, I thought it was pretty cool seeing a walk-on today.
I mean, yeah, with senior day and them having the competition gap they had with Eastern Illinois, you're gonna see that. But I know which quarterback you're referring to. The 6'5" quarterback on their roster they had.
Yeah, 6'7".
Yeah,
He's
6'5",
6'7".
6'7", 6'7". Yeah, he big too. But
He's a
it
big
was just
man.
nice to see over. It was just nice to see overall those younger players deep in the rotation, players deep on the depth chart on this Alabama football team get their chance to make those plays on offense and defense. And Alabama being petty to the college football committee by showing them that they can run the football in different ways and getting the ball in the hands of their running backs, whether it was in the screen game or just running it straight up. So, like we were saying earlier, I think that's a good sign. But the test is next week because the game gonna be close. I've been seeing odds makers already making this Alabama versus Auburn game a 6 point, 7 point game. So it very well might come down to the fourth quarter where we need a kind of salty kick. I'm really hoping it's not because I don't want to have to depend on kind of salty. Me personally, um, like I said it on social media. I said they might as well operate like they don't have a kicker, but the game definitely gonna be close. I'm just hoping that offensively, Todd Simpson can do what he got to do and lead this Alabama offense, and the playmakers come out to play because today we saw Ryan Williams. I mean, he was okay. They wasn't really throwing the ball, so the receivers, I take their performance out of the equation because it was clear that Alabama wanted to run the football to show the committee that they could run it, but uh, when they did throw Ryan Williams football, I think he had 2 targets. He had one catch for 25 yards, but he still had a drop. So I mean, at this point, I'm really just starting to think that that's a part of his game. But I'm really hoping that next week, in terms of Auburn, that the playmakers come out to play because we saw that them rest a lot of guys today. They rested Josh Cuevas, and we saw some younger tight ends like Caleb Edwards and Marshall Pritchard step up and make plays. And then we saw Jeremy Bernard. He was rested today, and Parker Brailsford was rested today. And we saw some younger guys step up and make those plays. So hoping that those guys that were rested today that they can rest up real good because we're gonna need all hands on deck next week versus Auburn to secure this 10-2 record and get to the college football playoffs. But this week is just gonna be a real pressurized week for Kevin DeBoer, I believe. But I think it's nothing this Alabama football team can't handle. So it's gonna be a crazy week coming up, and I'm just looking forward to seeing what these scenarios looking like for Alabama.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for
I
sure,
will
man.
say that the one of the last like old traditions that's really cool is walk-ons. Like, right, that your guy that's not talented enough to have a scholarship, unfortunately, but you love football, you love competing, you love helping making the roster better, because those guys are on the depth chart, they're way down the depth chart, but they make the starters better when they compete. And them getting that moment out there on the field, even if it's brief, they're going to have that for the rest of their lives. It's awesome. I think that is an amazing part of sports that also is dying because obviously they're trying to, their walk-ons are going away. Eventually they're going to probably not exist anymore in any capacity. So it is it's just a cool thing to see those guys get out there. So I have nothing but positive things to say whenever I see walk-ons getting their little bit of time out there on the field or the court or whatever sport you're playing, that you're a walk-on. It's because again, it's a moment they'll remember forever.
There you go. And that's the young man. That's the young man we saw. Come on. Oh, never mind.
6'7" quarterback they saw. He was a walk on today, a true freshman. He looked good too in the spare time that he got. I
I'd
saw
be happy
Benjamin
too.
say something. I saw Benjamin say something. Quality wins should 100% count more than quality losses. If Miami wins out, should they get in? Should they get in playoffs before Indy head to head? Miami has the win, and the computer and need the computer over the committee. Just my
I
thoughts.
disagree with that
Honestly,
because of the fact Miami has worse losses. Miami lost to
yeah,
two unranked teams. They're not great. Notre Dame's 2 losses are to teams in the top 15. That argument, you can do the exact same point, but reverse that.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame has looked better than Miami the rest of the season since that game. Is Florida State better than us? Should they be ranked ahead of us?
No, they
that's not how that works. I understand exactly what Ben is trying to say. I'm not saying that he's completely wrong. In certain instances, head-to-head should matter. But when you've got so much data to suggest that Notre Dame is a better football team than Miami, a lot of data. The head-to-head, it was one game. Notre Dame barely lost that game in Miami early in the season. Don't discredit Miami. It was a really good win. But since that game, they've lost to Louisville and SMU. I've said this about 100 times on social media. I don't know why people keep talking about this. Notre Dame should be ranked ahead of Miami. They should be ranked ahead of Miami, and they should get in the playoffs over Miami. The head-to-head is not the be-all and end-all. If that was the only thing that mattered, then why do the other games matter at all?
Oh
Why?
man,
Notre Dame has completely dominated the rest of their competition. I don't care that the competition is poor. They barely lost to Miami. They barely lost to Texas A&M. Miami lost to Louisville and SMU. Those are not
Yeah,
great football teams.
but with the Notre Dame and Miami point, I'm for the head to head mattering because with Alabama they got the head to head over Georgia. But couldn't you flip that argument and say since that game Georgia has looked better than Alabama? I mean they're undefeated since that game, but no, we don't do that because Alabama went into Georgia and won. Just like
we always beat Georgia,
Well, we
and
were ranked ahead of Georgia until we picked up our second loss, though.
yeah,
So
yeah,
the head-to-head did matter
okay.
until it didn't, because now it means squat. It doesn't mean anything. The only thing it helps us with is getting into the SEC title game. That's all that still matters about that. But we are going to be ranked behind Georgia for the rest of the football season, unless Georgia loses to Georgia Tech, and then we win the SEC title game. Other than that, Georgia will remain ahead of us in the rankings because they have one loss and we have two. I know what you're saying. I just think people get way too hung up on that because there are a lot of other data points to use other than one game.
But yeah, it was just so funny seeing Florida
Louisville's
State.
not better than Miami, but
No,
Louisville beat them. It's football. Head-to-head
yeah.
is not the be-all and end-all. It just isn't. I'm sorry. It just is not. Unless you have two teams with one loss, like Alabama and Georgia were before, you got to rank Alabama ahead of Georgia there because Alabama beat them. They both got one loss. But when you have a lot more data points, and if Miami's losses were to Alabama and Georgia, then I would say that Alabama or Miami should be ranked ahead of Notre Dame. But Miami's losses are to Louisville and SMU. Those are not good teams. Notre Dame went to Pittsburgh and completely Florida. Miami struggled with Virginia Tech today.
Well,
Miami's
Okay,
not a better team
so
than
so
Notre Dame.
so so what you think about Notre Dame being over Alabama? Because I think that's crazy. Notre Dame shouldn't be over Alabama. I mean,
It's because
they're
we
saying
just
that.
lost.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
and
the
when you
problem.
lose late, people got they gonna
Notre
remember that.
Dame
That's fresh
lost
on the
their first
mind.
two
But
games of the year, and they've been undefeated since. We just lost. If our first two losses were the first two games of the year to Oklahoma and Florida State, then we would be ranked ahead of Notre Dame right now. But our loss came
yeah,
just now. It's unfortunate, but I don't make the rules. You don't make the rules. None of us make the rules on that. When you lose late, it hurt. There's a reason why when we beat Georgia and we had one loss, we made the playoffs when we won the SEC title game. Georgia went undefeated, lost in the SEC title game. They did not make the 14 playoff. When you lose matters. When you lose late in the
yeah,
season, it hurts more. It sucks, but it's just the way that it is because you don't have enough time to regain. You don't have enough time to move ahead of teams. You run out of that time.
And that's why you tune in to the Voice College Football Network, including Alabama with the Voice College Football.
I don't mean to shut people down on that because I'm not saying that I'm just completely right and everyone else is wrong. There's always a counter argument. It's because people beat this horse to death, completely beat it into the ground about head to head and when you lose and all that type of stuff. It's been this way forever. You lose early, you have time to regain in the rankings. You lose late, you don't have that time. And head-to-head only matters so far. Because if you have a lot of other data points, again, Miami, they're the ones that screwed themselves over by losing to two really, really crappy football teams compared to Miami, supposedly. Louisville and SMU are not horrible, but they're not good either. And Miami's
yeah,
probably still going to make the playoffs anyway. If they win out, which I don't trust them to, but if they win out, they'll get in. So what's the complaining over? Notre Dame should be ranked ahead
it's
of them.
just
Get over it, Miami fans. Sorry. Get over
but
it.
but but people are saying it's just the fact that now Alabama might have the chance to fall out if they lose in the SEC championship game, and like I said, if it's an upset in the Big 12 where BYU or Utah beats Texas Tech, and then you're like, dang, because you can't drop Texas Tech too far out. I mean, you drop them from number 5 to what for losing by whatever in the conference championship game. So I mean, but that's Alabama's fault. They afforded themselves no margin for error because if they would have went 11-1 going into the SEC title game and they lost the SEC title game, you're not leaving an 11-win Alabama team out of the college football playoffs. But now I mean, if they go 10-2 and then they lose, I'm not saying they're gonna lose. I believe that they have what it takes to win the SEC, but I'm just saying the margin of error that they put themselves in,
Oh,
the scenario
I
they put
heard our
themselves in.
yeah. I think I know we talked about it off air. I didn't know if we talked about it here on today's post game show, but this is the second straight year I've heard the broadcasters of the Cupcake game on SEC Network talking about if you're in the SEC title game, you shouldn't be left out. But it's like, why are you talking about that in a Cupcake
Yeah, you
game?
brought that
Like,
up earlier.
yeah, because it's
Because
like,
that's what's gonna matter at the end of the day. Alabama is more than likely gonna be put in that situation. I
If
mean, because
Alabama
they,
loses
if
a close competitive game to A&M or Georgia or whoever, probably A&M in the SEC title game, if it is like a 35-31 loss, Alabama will make the college football playoff at 10-3.
oh,
If they get blown off the field, if they get, I mean, it's so freaking simple that sometimes you just have to keep saying it though for people to get it. You just have to keep doing it. Alabama is not a lock for the playoffs. They don't have a 99.9% chance to make the playoffs next to their name. They have to win next week, and then they cannot get blown out in the SEC title game. Because if they get blown out, if they lose 40-0, there is a chance that Alabama misses the playoffs. It's not a guarantee. We have to take care of business. We have to do our job, beat Auburn, and then, frankly, win the SEC title game, or at the very worst, lose close.
I think honestly, at the SEC title games and overtime, we're good. We're good.
It doesn't even
Like,
have to be an overtime. It just needs to be a close, competitive, hard-fought game. That's all that matters. If we lose 35-31 or 21-20 or anything close, we are going to get in because it's Alabama.
we
I
saw
mean,
what
it
happened
is.
and then we saw what happened with SMU last year. Even when they were on the verge of getting blown at the Clemson, they came all the way back, and then they lost by like a field goal or something. It was a one possession game, and
oh yeah,
everybody
when
was saying that Coach Leslie and that SMU group deserved to be in, and Alabama fans was heartbroken that SMU was over Alabama, but SMU they kind of deserved to be in according to the committee's metrics and stuff. So, like
That's
Jeffrey
a
was
great
saying,
point, Travion, because if SMU had have gotten blown out, they would have missed the playoffs and they would have put us
yeah,
in the playoffs. But because they were
yep.
close, because they came back, they
Second
got in
half, they
instead.
came back. They scored like 20 points in the second half and
oh, we
came
would have
back,
had
and everybody was
Alabama,
just
Penn
like,
State, and Happy Valley
And that
last
would have
year.
been a better
yeah,
game than SMU Penn State. And we all know that. I mean, it's just the way that it is. Even though we played bad a lot last year, Alabama would have given them a better game
Man,
than
Penn,
SMU
Penn
did.
State,
man.
Alabama. Like
But
I get
SMU got
excited
in
thinking
because
about.
they had 2 losses and we had 3. I know SEC's tougher than the ACC. It's hard to compare teams. It's hard to compare conferences, and it's hard to compare resumes. It just is. At the end of the day, if you have more losses than another team, it's really hard to justify having them ranked
Really
ahead. That's
hard.
why we have 2 losses. Georgia's 1. We're ranked behind. I know the Notre Dame thing, but again, it's when we lost. But if we were 9-1 or 10-1 now, then we would still be ranked 4th in the country. We would be ranked number 4 right now, still behind the 3 undefeated teams, because I saw people as well saying that Alabama should move ahead of A&M and Ohio State and Indiana for winning all those games in a row. And I'm like, no, because they're
No,
undefeated. We have 1 loss. Like, you cannot rank a team ahead of a team that has more losses. You just can't do that unless it's like, okay, Navy. If it's like Navy undefeated and Alabama's got 1 loss, okay, but you can't do that with A&M or Ohio State or even Indiana now that they're not trash anymore. You can't do that. So we were going to still be at 4th. Since we lost, we're now at 10. We're still okay, but yeah, it's, I don't know, man.
Oh man,
It's crazy. I got to actually go. I've had to go for a
yeah,
while, but people are firing it all
yeah.
up on all cylinders with these topics. I mean, I have a very passionate feel on the way I feel about these topics, like everybody else does. Everybody else loves Miami. They deserve to be ahead of Notre Dame. I
It's the
disagree.
typical
I'm sorry.
South.
Just do.
We take longer than we should to say bye to one another. Where it's like it's like bye, bye. There's like 30
I got
minutes
one more
later.
thing though. I got one more thing though. Okay, what happens if Michigan and Ohio State the game next week and Michigan beats Ohio State because they beat them the last 2 years. So what if
Man,
Michigan beats Ohio State and then 10-2 Michigan. You can't leave out 10-2 Michigan. Like you said,
They'll
it
get in.
depends on when you
No.
lose late. They'll get in. Then how far
Yeah,
do you?
basically.
They would have to get in because that's the only team that's beaten the defending
Mm.
national champion. And on top of that, so I'm like, how far would Ohio State drop, and where would that leave Alabama?
Probably like
I mean,
fifth.
I yeah I mm, okay, but but okay, Ohio State drops the field. Where does Alabama go if they were to lose the SEC championship game? And then, I don't know. You get what I'm
Oh
saying though?
man,
And
Well,
I'm
then
see,
frozen
okay,
again.
if you've got a 2-loss Alabama with a SEC title championship win, and then Ohio State loses to Michigan and Indiana in the Big Ten championship game, then Alabama would be ranked ahead of Ohio State. But if Ohio State loses to Michigan, but still makes the Big Ten championship game and beats Indiana, then Ohio State would be ranked ahead of Alabama easily, even if Alabama won the SEC because they only have one loss.
Yeah, but yeah, it's that Big
Michigan
Ten.
will get in, though. Yes. Like Michigan will leapfrog Utah. They will leapfrog a lot of those teams on the
would they
fringe
leapfrog
because
Alabama
they would
though?
Oh,
have the
Utah's
best win
losing
in
to
college
Kansas
football.
State right now. As a matter of fact, they're losing by double digits to a Kansas State team fighting for bowl eligibility. As Kansas State
Well,
is
yeah,
winning
Utah's done then if they lose, but, if they come back and win,
Nick
they're still
Kelly
alive.
from AL.com said that was one of the teams we need to lose is Utah. But
Yeah.
oh man, I'll have to make sure this doesn't turn into another 30 minutes. But then again, this is the
Hey, you guys can
definition.
keep going if you want. I have to go, but you guys can keep going if you want.
Oh my god.
It's a lot of crazy stuff to talk about.
Oh, that's it. You can check out Jeffrey at Only Talk Sports, where he talks sports every single day, or at least he tries to, right here on Only Talk Sports on YouTube and on @/Twitter. Give him a follow. Let's get him to 20,000 followers, and let's get him to 3,000 subs, all right there on Only Talk Sports. And you can always check him out Monday nights on Crimson Tide Live, Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Central Time on the Alabama Call-In Show. But this week it's moved up to Wednesday because of Thanksgiving, as we take your calls on the Crimson Tide. All right there on Alabama, the voice of college football, and you can check them out on Only Talk Sports. Oh, well.
Appreciate that, Jackson. It was a great show. Love the conversation, Travion. I agree with a lot of your points. I really do agree with a lot of people's points, but I just feel the way I feel about certain topics, like other people have different opinions. So it's just interesting because I have these debates with people all the time, and sometimes it just kind of hits ahead to a point where it's like, all right, like, why are you not seeing the points here? But it's okay. Again, everybody's got their opinion. So makes college football fun. I will be live sometime tonight. I know people are going to hopefully enjoy that. Godfather and Steve saying they're going to be there. I appreciate that. You guys are awesome. You guys make the show great. So I appreciate it. But everybody subscribe to Alabama, the voice of college football. Appreciate all the support. You guys have a great night, Travion and Jackson.
You too, Jeffrey. Stay safe, stay warm, and it's cold out, and you enjoy your game. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Here we go. Oh, man. And then there was only two. Here we go. Just the two of us. Or I forget how the song goes. Just the two of us. The two of us.
Yeah, man.
Oh, man. It's like we thought it was going to be a short show because of it being Eastern Illinois, but it's like, Huh?
No, I was saying no, man, because there's still just a lot to discuss with this Alabama football team. Like next week is going to be a big week, just going forward, just with all these rivalry games going out, all the different scenarios that could play out, what Alabama, what they need to do to beat Auburn, and things of that nature, because it's the Iron Bowl. The Iron Bowl, preparing for that game. I mean, this is the Auburn Super Bowl, so. The fact that we took as long as we did on the show today, I expect it to be longer, because there's still a lot more to discuss. And we didn't even get into what Kevin DeBoer said in the postgame show. We will break down some of that more on Monday, but yeah, it's just a lot going forward. And then we saw some players return on defense and stuff like Quay Russaw. We didn't get into his return. We'll get into that more on Monday, but just a lot to discuss with this Alabama football team.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, I was just seeing a little bit before we got on tonight, where DeBoer was disappointed in the fans booing Talty today. Like, I thought that was pretty cool. He stuck up for his guy.
Yeah, I mean, fans got the right at this point, but I like what I saw from Kellen DeBoer, the fact that he is to stick up for him because, like I said, we're gonna need Talty again at some point. Can't just operate like we don't have a kicker, even though I would, but that's why I'm not the coach. So
There you go,
that's a
man.
good sign that's a good sign for Kellen DeBoer just to be able to stick behind his guys. So looking forward to
For
see how this Alabama group responds going on the week, going into Georgia.
There we go, man. And it's always going to be a wild ride, and we're covering it all. We're covering 2025 edition of the Iron Bowl right here on Alabama Voice College Football, and get in the trenches with Travion as he creates that magic on Tware1K on @/Twitter. And did you pass 2,100 followers, man?
Yeah, I did get to 2100.
Congrats.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me see if I got that sound effect. Let's see if we got the sound. There we go.
The streamers, yeah.
There we go, man. So tell your friends, your family, and the cashiers at Publix about the magic that Travion Ware creates all right here on Alabama at the Voice College Football with Jeffrey and myself, all right there on Tware1K. And you can also check me out on Jackson Johnson 979, where I've got my latest 2 episodes of the Jacksonian with Matthew Lennox from Florida State Wire, Florida State, the Voice College Football, and Blogging the Boys on SB Nation for the Dallas Cowboys, as we talk quite a lot about the Cowboys, Florida State, vent about the Atlanta Braves, and we talk about a lot of other important stuff, life stuff. What is that exactly? That's why you tune into that episode. And last night, I had the honor of hanging with Mike Debate, talking about the Patriots, the NFL, the situation of Bill Belichick in North Carolina, and much more. And we are basically undergoing some changes on the Jackson. What changes are they? Well, that's why you like, comment, subscribe to Jackson Johnson 979 on YouTube, where I'm basically 274 subs away from that magic number 1,000. And for more updates, what we've got going on Alabama, the Voice of College Football, the Jacksonian, SEC at the Voice of College Football, Parents on Lockdown West Virginia for Jackson's World College Football Mountaineer Ball, and once, twice a week calls on the Paul Feinbaum Show. Check me out on JacksBOCFB on @/Twitter and on Instagram at threads, Jackson Johnson 543908. And with that being said, we thank you all for tuning in to the Alabama Eastern Illinois postgame live show right here on Alabama with the Voice of College Football. We will be seeing you Monday night at 6 p.m. Central Time, where Travion, Jeffrey, and myself will be joined by Kyle Loomis from E2C Network to discuss the 2025 edition of the Iron Bowl. Good night. Sleep well. Stay safe. Stay warm. It's cold out. And roll!